You all know the target. Shiva's dominant. And only the dominant.
How do we even know the girl will be among us?
Our kind do not question orders, we follow them.
Sergeant, let's summon their icon.
Icon? That thing's a bloody mountain.
Our foe will not relinquish their mother crystal easily. This will be a bitter fight.
You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this. Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
I am Joshua's shield. I'm sworn to protect him.
What do you mean you refuse? Did you not pledge your sword to our cause?
What does it matter? It was the Dalmex who drove back the Crusaders in the Battle of the Twin Realms, was it not?
Without the blessing of the Mother Crystal, we cannot defend our realm from the spread of the Blight.
So, they sent in the Dragoons. Imperial Vipers. Do they really mean to invade us?
The Archduke's son.
Phoenix.
Joshua! Stop this!
Second icon of fire. But that's impossible. The legacy of the crystals has shaped our history. I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Cold to change out here. Dang, I'm late for Mom's rally.
Subway card, check. You got the house key?
Yeah, I got it.
Come on! We're gonna be late!
Hey! Dude, I am so filling your suit with snow. Are you still wearing your suit?
Yeah, you know, just in case.
It's gonna be fine. See, this is my favorite part of living in Harlem. Pop-up street fair, best food in the city, awesome music.
Man, this would be great for the last beat I was working on. I should get back into mixing.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So what do you think about Rio Morales? You gonna vote for her?
It's still hard to think of Mom as a politician. She's been a teacher my whole life.
Similar skill sets, right? Corralling people, educating them, making sure they don't throw things at each other.
Hi, I'm Brian Horton, Creative Director at Insomniac Games. We're excited to show you this first look at gameplay from Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Our story picks up 1 year after the events of the first game, and we find Miles' new home, Harlem, is in danger. Trouble brews while Miles' mom, Rio Morales, leads an election rally. A war between the devious energy corporation Roxxon and the Underground, a high-tech criminal army led by the Tinkerer, starts to break out. In this gameplay sequence, captured on PlayStation 5 hardware, the Underground attacks Roxxon, sending the rally into chaos in a fight that spills onto the Braithwaite Bridge, where the Underground tries to steal Roxxon's experimental energy source, Newform. Let's take a look.
Go, go, go! Stop!
Whoa! Let's not shoot each other, all right?
We're after the new form. Ignore everything else. Get rid of him. Then grab as much as you can carry. Keep him busy.
People off the whole truck!
That bridge is coming down! I have to stop this! People are trapped over there! I have to push past these guys! Where is he? They'll kill you! Don't let him cut you! Help! Help! No! The bus! Everybody get out! Don't worry, I got you!
Thank you.
Man! Those people! They're trapped! I've got an idea! think they can cross? I can stop this! Just a little closer!
Magic, both beautiful and powerful, binds together our long history. That common bond we share is the legacy of Hogwarts. Now it is time to add your own story to these hallowed halls and, quite possibly, shape the future of the wizarding world. Every corridor, every portrait, every stone in this castle tells the story of witches and wizards who came before. Here you will meet lifelong friends and grow into your own magical abilities in the classrooms of the world's most talented professors. And while your journey begins at Hogwarts, brewing potions, taming fantastic beasts, and mastering spells, there is a larger world beyond these walls. A world filled with dangers you can't yet imagine. An ancient knowledge long gone from this world. That strange and mysterious talent you possess may be the key to unlocking this dormant power. Your potential is limitless. But what form will it take? The journey ahead will reveal what you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Vondrak, Creative Director at Raven. One of our goals as developers is to bring the game world to life unlike anything you've ever experienced, and the PlayStation 5 is making that happen. With the power of the new console, we've been able to significantly enhance the overall experience. From what you see in the world, to how it feels in your hands, to what you hear around you. In Black Ops Cold War, you will be transported to the year 1981, in the middle of one of the most dangerous times the world has ever known, the height of the Cold War. The following is a portion of the first campaign mission, where you've been given the name of a high-value target linked to the Iran hostage crisis. But in true Black Ops style, nothing is as it seems. Take a look.
Qasim is out of the picture.
How long before we get Arash?
The team arrived in Turkey a few hours ago. They should be in position shortly.
Airfield's just up ahead. Let's go find this shithead.
Priority is to ID Arash before things go hot. Mason, check it out.
Incoming truck, left side.
Arash might be in the truck.
I can't make out his face yet.
I don't want
The fuck? He just iced everyone in the truck. That's gotta be Arash.
Hold fire. We need a positive ID. That's our man. Take him out.
Shit! We missed him! Can't let him get away!
We hope you enjoyed that sneak peek at the campaign for Black Ops Cold War. There are many more twists and turns along the way as you begin to unravel the truth, and we can't wait for you to play it soon. In addition to the story campaign, Cold War features the next generation of multiplayer online combat and an all-new awesome zombies experience. Today, I have the special honor to announce on behalf of my friends at Treyarch that the PlayStation community doesn't have to wait to play multiplayer. Starting this Friday, PlayStation players will be able to play the multiplayer alpha exclusively on PlayStation 4. And for those of you that are watching at home on your PS4, you can preload the experience starting tomorrow. We can't wait to see you online Friday and through the weekend. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Won't move! Chris? What the hell?
Take him away.
In life and in death, we give glory. The bell tolls for us all. They're coming again!
Mia.
Quit being so paranoid. Long ago, a young girl went with her mother to pick berries for her father, who was hard at work. But the forest greeted them with a dark, cold silence, the bushes empty. Yet determined to find the berries, the rascal broke free of Mother's grasp and vanished into the trees. Mother's worried cries faded fast as the girl ran on, over vine, under branch, and into the forest deep.
And in death, you give glory. Mother Miranda.
It's just a local tale.
If it's just looking, window shop away.
You want out of a time loop? You gotta learn how it works. Black Reef is a puzzle, and each visionary is a different piece. Here's Igor.
I am a respected scientist!
I've done so many loops, I've learned to run circles around him.
Hey, over here! I'm coming for you!
I've tried taking my targets out one by one more than I can remember, but there is never enough time. I go after one, another lives, because right now, half an island away, a different visionary is throwing his nightly cannibal masquerade. Alexis Dorsey.
Everybody shut up! This is my jam.
Igor's a big fan, yet somehow he never makes it to the party. Something keeps him home.
Gold, you there, buddy?
Here's the invite to the party. And here's why Igor blew it off. He made some kind of scientific breakthrough that morning.
I did it! I did it, it works!
That he makes every morning. Unless I get there first. No experiment, no breakthrough. No reason for Igor not to drink his disappointment with Alexis. Now I got a shot at killing them both at the same time. In the same loop.
Is that cool? Hey, Wolf! It's time to hunt
targets on my list. Every one of them with grand plans for eternal life. To break the loop, I gotta break the rules. Clock's ticking.
And you just ran out of time. You keep forgetting, Colt. I'm not like those other idiots. Only got one name on my list. Yours.
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine? You a demon? Kneel before me. This is power. Rest in peace. Devil may cry.
What are they doing? Did those fugitive morons burn down their own hideout?
It sounds idiotic, but that's exactly what it looks like.
Bad karma for burning down my farm.
Hi, I'm Lorne Lanning, creative director of Oddworld Soulstorm, and we're excited to bring you an all-new exclusive trailer from the game. Here, our unlikely hero, Abe, finds himself fresh off the back of freeing his people from the nefarious Rupture Farms. He thinks the journey is over, but soon discovers it has only just begun. The stakes are higher, the threats are larger, the obstacles are more devious, and it's all made possible by the power of PlayStation 5. Enjoy.
Not letting that Abe guy get away from us again!
wait here.
Hey, why the hold up?
I could go for a sandwich right now.
Well, we gotta get out of here. Come on, let's get out of here.
My tummy's growling. I'm hungry.
Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me. Please come out. Gregory, I may have lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again. It's been such a difficult day for all of us. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together? It won't happen again. It was just a glitch.
Gregory, be still. I think she's found us.
Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. Soul of the lost withdrawn from its vessel. Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended.
that big?
My name is Marcus.
My name is Kara.
My name is Connor.
After all we've been through.
It's time.
So now you know. Thank you all for joining us today and for being part of this amazing journey. It's your passion as fans of gaming that drives us to deliver a truly new generation of experiences on PS5. From everyone at PlayStation, we appreciate your continued support, and we look forward to you getting your hands on PS5 very soon. To close, let me leave you with one more quick look.
The time draws near. You must prepare yourself.
And welcome back. That was the PlayStation 5 showcase. That was huge. I'm Max Scoville, joined by Brian Altano, Jonathan Dormus, and Janet Garcia. We finally have a price point and a release date for the PlayStation 5, both models. Jonathan?
I was so close. I was so close. One day off. Yeah, it's the $500, $499 for the main version with a disc drive, and then digital edition is $399 or $400, depending on how you want to say that. And they're both coming November 12th to some territories, and then November 19th to the rest of the world.
I want to point out, I was going to predict the 12th. I wrote that in our planning doc because I figured it would come out at night, the night before Friday the 13th, which they'd be crazy to launch a console on, but my mic wasn't working. But there it is.
Fair enough. Janet, how do you feel about this?
These prices are super competitive. I'm honestly shocked that they were able to hit that 500. I was just really skeptical based on what they are offering and the fact that it really feels like they don't need to do that. They, were more successful this generation. They are kind of already set up to be more successful this coming generation. And this just really put the nail in the coffin in terms of that. Like, they are essentially, because both models are essentially the same in terms of power. So their next gen premier model is arguably 400, because the only difference is the disk drive versus Xbox is at the $500 mark. Like, this is awesome. I don't think you could have asked for anything better without being just completely unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could spend $100 less and get a Series S, which feels, like it's going into a completely different territory than the PS5 digital is. That you're getting the top of the line version of the PS5 just without a disc drive for $400. That's insane.
That's crazy. My biggest fear going into this would be that Sony would repeat what they did with the PlayStation 3, because after the PS2 sold insane hotcakes, that they would maybe be like that same level of hubris. But to see them kind of come in with, again, such a competitive price is extremely cool. And now it just comes down to when and how do we pre-order these friggin' things. Now let's talk about the launch lineup. We definitely got some holiday 2020s, and we got some coming up pretty soon later on. But let's talk about what we actually know is going to be available digitally at launch or otherwise, starting with Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Again, it's a game that kind of already came out, but that has a pretty clear digitally at launch, nice and clean there.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's already, I believe, setting this sort of cadence of the divide between these two consoles, the digital and the disc version. If day one of your confirmed games can't be purchased on disc, that makes you immediately go, why am I spending $100 more on this system? I think they're kind of setting the course here because, like we said in the pre-show, they get all of the profits of selling something digitally themselves rather than selling a disc through a third-party brick and mortar retailer or something like Amazon. So it only makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to mention that same thing. It definitely puts a damper on. Like, for me, I'm getting the physical version, the one that takes discs, and for it to be at launch but not physical, which also sometimes implies that there might be a physical launch later. It just sort of puts the physical space in an awkward situation where it's like, well, do you either want to wait longer to maybe get your game, or do you want to buy it twice for the culture? And that's never really a great spot to be in. It is something that we've, if you're a physical media fan, you probably ran into this situation several times, especially with indie games. But for something of this caliber to be released at launch but not have the physical version, obviously COVID could be playing a role in that, but it sets kind of an uncomfortable tone for the next gen if you are someone that loves physical media like me.
Yeah, we also, Fortnite's going to be available at launch, which is cool if you don't already have that on 15 other devices. The really exciting thing in terms of the launch lineup, I don't know if this really counts as launch titles per se, because it's existing games, but the PlayStation Plus collection is kind of a huge deal, which is basically this massive library of PS4 hits that are going to be just available for any PlayStation Plus subscriber if you buy a PS5, which I feel like those usually come with a little slip of paper that says, like, here's a free week of PlayStation Plus. This is massive.
You'll probably get a free week or a free month with the PS5, I would assume, and then they'll maybe even do discounts this holiday for PlayStation Plus prices. But yeah, this is such a smart move. One, for people who missed any of these games during the life of the PS4 but have had a PS4, and then two, for anyone who is someone who didn't have a PS4 this generation and wants to catch up on these really great titles. You don't have to also get a PS4. You can get a PS5 this holiday and jump into all these really, really great first and third-party games. I think it's a really smart move to have right at launch.
Yeah, I mean, my issue with a lot of this conference is that we didn't really get a ton of concrete information on anything. And so while this sounds awesome, my brain immediately started going, are these upgraded versions of the games? Are they running, on basically max capacity on the PS5? Something like Bloodborne, one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite, never got a patch on PS4 Pro. So I was delighted to see it as part of this lineup. But if it's going to be the same version that we've been playing on base PS4 for years, then that's kind of a bummer, because I would love to see them go all in. That said, this is an incredible library. And if for some reason you missed these games last time around, holy crap. I think this is obviously their answer to Game Pass. We had sort of theorized for a while that PS Now would be something they overhauled, but I think they're smart to just go all in on PS Plus. The branding's there, the subscribers are there, and this will only drive in more and more people to sign up.
What's really exciting about this is it kind of sets the precedent for what might come for PS Plus in that PS5 gen. Like, what ways are they revamping it? What kind of games will we see added to it? Like, they're putting in so much of their major lineup that this really could be the space to get those free games that are of high quality that you may have missed out on moving forward into this gen.
At the very least, it's very cool if you're going to be buying a new box and you haven't played. I mean, I haven't played all of these games. Like, this is a massive lineup of games, and like to get this new thing out of the box and be like, what am I going to play? And it's like, oh, you play one of the things you missed. And like, maybe that's not as, super exciting as a brand new title, but that definitely gives you something to hold you over while, publishers and studios catch up with, new hardware. But let's talk about some of the first party announcements. We got an awesome look at Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is still slated for a holiday 2020 release. This looks gorgeous. Like, we knew that, but I mean, we're all big Spider-Man fans here. Jonathan, take it away.
Yeah, this was such a great showcase for it. I think, when Spider-Man PS4 was first shown, a lot of people complained of like, oh, is it just going to be this, QuickTime event game and you're just going to be doing that? And there were QuickTime events here, but I think we know well enough what Insomniac has planned that that's not a worry. The gameplay that we saw here, I don't want to take anything from what Janet said, so I'll leave to her as we were watching the show together, but it looked great. I loved specifically really the way they're showing Miles's physicality is different from Peter's, and the way he moves, and not just his moveset, but also the animation and all of that. It flows differently. It looks so great. I loved this first look, and I think it was a really, really stellar thing to come out of the gate with in terms of first party showing at this.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. I loved how it had kind of this slowdown thing going for it. It looks like it's going to be even more exciting to sort of chain together these attacks. And I think in a game like this, that's what really ends up being enticing, because even though like Spider-Man on PS4 wasn't exactly a super hard or challenging game, the fun came from doing those combos, from pulling off like, the pipe on the street and like whacking someone with it. And I think players that are really looking to like push things further are going to have so much fun chaining together stuff. There's going to be all these crazy gameplay clips and GIFs coming out of it. And then just even seeing it now here, it looked so gorgeous. I think we were all just taken aback by how beautiful like the lighting looked and how it just felt so real and just pretty. It was just such a nice game to show off the PS5, both in terms of the graphical fidelity and the kind of gameplay experiences we get to have on it.
Yeah, I think when we think about the last Spider-Man game for PS4, we think about these sort of open world physics, how incredible it was to swing around that city. It is definitely understated how phenomenal the combat was in that game for the reasons you listed, Janet. Like the creativity and fluidity you had in just dive bombing off of a skyscraper and beating up a bunch of thugs and throwing trucks at them and swinging around manhole covers and stuff like that. That got so much fun. And then you started integrating all the different things you can do with suits and stuff like that. It also looks like they're doing some really interesting stuff with the story this time around. Seems a little bit darker, a little bit more sinister. Although the last game did get pretty dark, like there were like legitimately like sad moments in that game. But this entire scene felt something straight like ripped out of a movie. The entire bridge sequence here was what you would find as a set piece in a blockbuster Marvel film. It just looks so damn good.
He did the pulling together thing. That's the classic Spider-Man move of just holding the bridge together with both his arms. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good to see. We kind of, Spider-Man is sort of a known quantity. We know that that's a solid video game, and it's cool to see that it's getting some new polish and bells and whistles and new additions to it. We do know there's going to be a Spider-Man PS4 remaster for PS5, which is going to come with the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. And it sounds like do we know if there's going to be a Miles Morales for PS4? Do we know that for sure or no?
It is coming to PS4, yes.
Okay, so basically both games are going onto their respective opposite systems, which is cool. So yeah, if you didn't get a chance to play that. Now, another thing that is sort of a known quantity, but also we're dying to know more about it, is how they closed the show, which was God of War Ragnarok, which is apparently coming sometime in 2021. We didn't get much aside from the incredible God of War music and some rumbling VO. But yeah, we're all excited. We like God of War.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what this is. Again, sort of the running theme for this showcase or conference was very little information. With the Miles Morales thing, you had to basically dig around the blog for details. So hopefully more stuff sort of tumbles out today. But yeah, this is, God of War won Game of the Year 2 years ago with IGN. This is one of the best games ever made. A phenomenal sort of reboot of one of the most beloved video game franchises, but also something that was, a big, meaty, lengthy game. Like this was a sort of like 15-20 hour story, lots of stuff to explore. The game ended with some pretty open-ended sort of scenarios in which a story could pick up. And so there's a lot that can happen from here. So we don't know if this is going to be a Miles Morales style, sort of like 10-hour, more bite-sized spin-off, or a full-fledged sequel to the last God of War game. But hopefully we get some details today. Either way, this was fantastic news. And Max, like you said earlier, I think for people who haven't played God of War in a while or haven't played it yet, it'll be there day one on PS5 through the PS Plus collection. So super cool. A good chance to catch up, and I'll probably play it again.
Yeah, that's exciting. And also the fact that it has a 2021 on there is pretty cool.
Really cool.
I think just getting that's a whole year for things to release it, and there's always the chance it gets delayed. But I feel like that's not that far away. Whereas when God of War was first revealed, we were sitting around twiddling our thumbs for like 2.5 years before that actually dropped.
I was just going to say we have that and Horizon Forbidden West set for 2021. So first party wise, it's looking pretty good for next year for PS5.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also got some incredible third-party stuff. The whole presentation kicked off with one that, sadly, I feel bad for the surprise that wasn't on their size, but Final Fantasy 16, which was heavily rumored, which is a substantial demo. Like, we got a lot, or not a demo, but like a lot of gameplay got shown off, and a lot of, as you'd expect, gorgeous Final Fantasy graphics, which is taken a nice change back to medieval fantasy, which I know a lot of people were kind of hoping for after... driving around in a Cadillac with the boys in 15 and all the diesel punk stuff in 7 remake. But yeah, this is also slated for 2021, and it looks really impressive.
Yeah, as someone who kind of dips in and out of the Final Fantasy franchise, I'll play one for a few hours, or I'll play one to completion and then not play another for 3 or 4 years. I do really like the very fantasy-focused version of this one, especially coming off of 7 Remake, at least, which obviously is more technologically focused and everything. This is someone who's gotten a little bit more into fantasy storytelling in the past few years. I'm really interested in this one, especially knowing you can kind of just jump into whatever Final Fantasy. I'm really excited for this one, and like you said, I can't believe it's next year.
Yeah, I think the big news here is them sort of stating at the end of the trailer, PlayStation console exclusive. It's also coming to PC, of course, and we're going to see that a lot. But that was a big sort of like kick in the door from Square Enix and Sony today. I saw some like sort of theories kicking around on social where people were kind of had the idea that you were playing as one character across multiple timelines rather than like a full-fledged traditional JRPG party, which is a really cool concept. And it makes me very interested in seeing this because I think that's just different and new enough. And God, it looks gorgeous too.
That's a good Marlboro. Janet, what was your take on Final Fantasy?
I'm much similar to Brian because I'm not really a Final Fantasy person, so I was just excited that, hey, this is a console exclusive. It gives me more reasons to have a PS5, or at least beefs up that PS5 library, which in this showcase, I feel like there wasn't a whole lot to get excited about that we didn't already know, and because that launch lineup was kind of thin, it at least says, okay, well, this is something that we have like guaranteed. It may not be coming out like day and date, but it's slated for later. It's something that, like Jonathan said, beefs up what 2021 looks like, even if like the tail end of 2020 isn't exactly the most exciting thing to have on PS5.
Now, moving on, speaking of fantasy stuff, Jonathan, I know you're very excited about this. Let's talk about Portkey Games' Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Harry Potter game that's not really a Harry Potter game. Let's talk about this.
You're putting me on the spot, man. Yeah, so there was a leak. I want to say it was maybe 2018. It's been so long. But basically there was a leak of a Harry Potter game that was set years ago, like decades, if not hundreds of years ago, was the alleged rumor, and it was going to let you create your own Hogwarts student and essentially play through your own story at Hogwarts. WB has since then not said a single word about whether or not this game was real. They've just pretty much stayed quiet until this trailer, and we saw that it's called Hogwarts Legacy, and seems to line up with the leaks that we saw that time ago. So it's going to be set in the late 1800s. You seem to be a student at Hogwarts, getting to explore, go to class, hang out with all the cool, fantastical, weird creatures in that world, and all this stuff. This couldn't have been revealed at a worse time for the Harry Potter franchise, I would say, as a longtime Harry Potter fan. The timing of this is not great, and so I feel for the devs who have been working on this game for obviously years. And the timing is unfortunate, but at least the work they're doing, it seems like the Harry Potter game I always wanted when I grew up reading those books. And so if it can deliver on that, if it can let you go to the classes you want to go to, play Quidditch, explore all the secret hallways and dungeons of the school and whatnot, that is a really, really cool prospect for Harry Potter fans.
I do think Harry Potter has been kind of struggling with this idea of what do we do outside of Harry Potter? Like, that storyline went really well, but some of the other things that have come out since the books ended and the movies ended have sort of been lacking, I think, for a lot of fans. Admittedly, I haven't dug into a lot of them because they have been lacking for a lot of fans, so I just wasn't interested. Yeah, so we'll see what they do with this one. I mean, there's like a lot of lore to pull from, but at the same time, trying to pave something new has its own challenges. I think all the problematic elements of Harry Potter aside, I do kind of feel like maybe it's time that we move on from Harry Potter just as a thing itself. But at the same time, you know, I'm a millennial. I read those books, actually not when I was as a kid, but way later. I love them. So definitely going to dig into this. I want to see what kind of like weird slice of life things you can do. This trailer is super combat focused, which of course is, you know, exciting because it's magic and there's all these different monsters. But I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to go to class. I'm trying to have some bully sim level experiences within Harry Potter. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this, and how they can really build out that world and the different systems at play outside of just the combat that I think they kind of focused on here.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a weird one because like I don't think there will be any familiar characters. Like maybe the ghosts will be alive, you know, like maybe Nearly Headless Nick will have his head, but like Peeves, I guess, will be around.
It'll definitely be it'll be a lot of the side characters, I think, that have been established. There's definitely characters who've been like alive or, you know, through ways been around for hundreds of years. I think the thing about it, at least for me, when it comes to like, I don't want to play a Harry Potter adventure anymore because one, I read the books, two, I played all of the game adaptations when they came out on PS2 and GameCube and whatnot. And so I think like exploring the other the other sides of this universe is a smart way to go. I just think, especially for a casual audience who knows that story and loves that story, it's harder to hook those people in.
Also, I want to point out, if there's anybody who's mad that this was revealed during a PlayStation conference, PlayStation is the only console canonically referenced in the Harry Potter books,
sure.
So it's canon. Anyway, speaking of weird castles full of ghosts and creatures and whatnot, we also got a glimpse of Resident Evil 8, or Village, spelled with Roman numerals. Brian, you're grinning ear to ear. Take it away.
Yeah, so this, to me, feels like the not only spiritual successor to Resident Evil 7, which rebooted the franchise and brought it into a first-person mode, but also really bringing it back to Resident Evil 4, spooky castles and weird creatures and goblins and monsters everywhere. Great thing about this is it's bringing a bunch of new horror species into the mix for the first time ever. We've got witches and werewolves and fun stuff like that. But this castle setting, this old town, this sort of like cult setting that's happening here, super Resident Evil 4. This immediately shot up to one of my most anticipated games of 2021. We got to see more of it today. Interesting thing we did see too is there's sort of like sub-storytelling narrative happening here that switches over to a very distinct art style that's evocative of something like Tim Burton or, you know, Coraline or something like that, sort of storybook-ish, which is interesting. I watch a ton of horror movies, and I've noticed that a lot of modern horror movies have actually attempted that recently. Most recently, a movie I watched called Hunted did that, where they threw in this sort of like way to tell a story that was separate than the in-game graphics and the, you know, shooting with actors and stuff like that. And I think it's really cool. For a second there, I was like, this is bizarre. This doesn't look like anything Resident Evil at all. If you had shown me that screen right there, that animation, I never would have guessed that this is what was happening. But I think it's going to add something interesting and new to the mix. This is a franchise that, you know, has reinvented itself so many times. It's gone from completely survival horror, intense, to over-the-top action, to rebooting itself as a first-person sort of like survival horror again, and back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm really excited to see how this one sort of brings in some of the best elements in the history of this franchise, returning in the first-person mode again, which means that the graphics are going to be just utterly stunning and gorgeous, but also bringing a lot of the sort of vintage survival horror stuff with it. I can't wait to see what they do in terms of like upgrading weapons, and if there's a merchant, and like what the weird cult people are like in this town, and can you turn into a werewolf? Do you get superpowers? Like, there's so much to play with here. These games get so fun and so silly, so I'm really, really, really excited for this one.
Janet, Jonathan, did you have anything to add about that after Brian?
I'm super excited for this too, even though I'm not really a horror person. It's kind of very scary. However, I am new to Resident Evil. My first ever Resident Evil game that I fully played through was 7. And then I went to RE2 Remake, and I haven't gotten around to RE3 Remake yet, but I plan to. So it's been really cool as someone that's new to the franchise and doesn't have like necessarily the nostalgia or memories that Brian has, but sort of sees this as, okay, what are they going to do now? So we know they like rocked, the remakes because those games were already good. So they made already good games better again. I've been super excited to see, okay, but what are they going to do that's next, that's new? To me, that's always what's more exciting than a remake. So I'm really interested in this. I get the sense that they might be playing with this idea of what is reality and what is illusion, and maybe there's something like going on with your head. They sort of had a bit of that in RE7 as well, but just the idea of this having the storybook narrative underneath, and this idea of, oh, these are just tales. What are you talking about? Everything's normal. I think it's going to warp your perception of reality a lot. I'm also really curious if they're going to do PSVR support for this, because that was a big part of 7 and that idea. Yeah. And Sony's so focused on immersion. Like, I think this is just going to be such a horrific adventure that I will not be playing in VR, but I think it'll be cool if people can.
Jonathan, anything to add?
I like spooks. I'm excited for this spook. I don't think there's any more I could say about that. I did just see some breaking news, though, if you don't mind me interrupting.
Sure, go for it.
Because why put this in the stream, PlayStation confirmed on their Twitter account that pre-orders will be available starting as early as tomorrow from select retailers.
Oh, damn. Yeah. I think Jeff Keighley also leaked that on his Twitter, but PlayStation's confirmed it, so that's cool.
He also
we don't know which select retailers yet, but... Yeah, that's great. So you can relax today. You can, sit on your wallet for a little while, call your bank, whatever you got to do. But tomorrow morning,
more relaxed than now. Sure.
Oh man,
it's going to happen when we're asleep. It's obvious.
Anyway, I guess speaking of other things jumping out and surprising you, we also got to look at Demon's Souls running a good chunk of gameplay. This is the Bluepoint full from the ground up remaster, which looks just flabbergastingly gorgeous. And it's going to be a launch title, which is huge.
We also just got confirmation that this is a PlayStation exclusive. It is a timed exclusive. It's also coming to PC, but in terms of consoles, this is a timed exclusive on PS5.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sony doesn't just acquire Bluepoint at this point, because obviously they love working together, and they've done some great remakes in the past. But yeah, as Max, you were saying, this looks gorgeous, and as someone who kind of bounced on Demon's Souls very early because I was too scared to keep going forward because I was bad at it, I'm really excited to jump into this version of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. It's weird because I played Demon's Souls for like a hot second when it was a PS Plus game on PS3, and I kind of poked around and didn't fully grok how to actually get good. But now since then I've burned through Bloodborne. I'm actually like halfway through Dark Souls 3 right now, and I'm absolutely in love with it. And I'm like totally going to jump into this and check it out. And it's gonna be really exciting to be sort of part of one of those games when they come out and everyone's talking about them at the same time, instead of playing a game that came out 3 years ago that no one's talking about. But yeah, this looks stunning. I'm dying to see somebody do a graphics comparison, because pull up the original and basically play alongside this exact same route, which I'm assuming is like in there, which should be cool. I'm sure somebody's working on that right now. But yeah, this looks like a ton of fun, and I don't know. It's cool that we're gonna get such a big, chunky, meaty game right at launch.
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest news for me. That's something I was really hoping for when we were talking about it in the pre-show. I'm a huge FromSoft fan, just like you, Max. Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time. The idea of playing this on day one made me go from now we're starting to form the idea of why you would buy a PlayStation 5 on day one. I mean, it's one of those things I would have done anyway because I'm stupid. And even if it didn't have games, I'd be like, I'll get it just because I love shiny new things. And, they help satiate the sadness that is the rest of the universe. But Demon Souls on day one. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm going to play the hell out of this game. It looks super tough and challenging. And yeah, Max, like you said, the conversation about this game did happen a while ago when it first launched, but there's going to be millions of people playing it for the very first time, including you and I. And we're weird that we text each other about monsters and Bloodborne and Dark Souls at wee hours of the night. So I'm very excited to do all that again with all of you. Assume you all play it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of bright and shiny brand new launch titles, we actually just got confirmation if Demon Souls is too scary for you. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales will be launching on 11/12 US and 11/19 everywhere else on PlayStation 5, and it's also coming to PlayStation 4 as well. That is an official tweet with like 8 other hashtags. Hashtag be greater, hashtag be yourself, hashtag makes you feel like Spider-Man.
Why did none of these things happen during the actual showcase?
I don't know. It's very weird. The weird thing about this one, too, is that we had theorized that it was $40 for a while because it was allegedly about half the length of the original game in terms of story and narrative. But this will be $50 for the base game, $70 for the ultimate version of the game, which includes a remaster of the PS4 version of Spider-Man. So that's awesome. That's a lot. But I think we had thought from the start that that was just rolled into a $40 price tag. So I do feel like things got moved around a little bit here.
All right.
It's still cool.
Let's wrap things up. Obviously, there's going to be tons more details popping up and coming out of the woodwork over the next, I guess, hours even. But final thoughts, Janet, you go first.
I guess this being now that we have this at launch, I think that's pretty strong. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed that's also on PS4 because that sounds kind of like, oh, I have less fun if more people can play the games. It's not that. It's just that, we criticize Xbox so much for that. I think it'd be ridiculous not to hold PlayStation to the same standard. I will say that I am very excited about the price. The price is awesome. I'm absolutely going to buy it tomorrow, hopefully, pre-order it if that happens. Excited to be able to play Miles at launch. Kind of disappointed that the launch lineup is not one that I would say is super strong outside of Miles, which once again is debatably not an exclusive, but hey, neither was Breath of the Wild on Switch, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, it's strange. This presentation definitely didn't answer all the questions it needed to. There are still a lot of stuff hanging, even when it comes to just the full launch lineup. But if we are really getting this Demon Souls at launch just on its own, I mean, to me, that already blows the PS4 launch out of the water. So I'm really excited to jump in on day one. I feel a little bit more secure in putting down $500 about this, even though I was always going to. But but all of this, there's a lot to be excited about, not just right now, but I think this did a really great job of telling me why 18 months from now, the PS5 is going to feel like a really good investment.
Nice. Brian, what about you? Final thoughts?
So the launch lineup to me is fantastic. Miles and Demon Souls on day one is great. The price is excellent. It's incredibly competitive. I think that it's going to go very far. The lineup for next year looks great. I wish we had seen more UI features, more stuff running under the hood, more of what it's going to be like to interact with this system on day one. But hopefully that's to come. So.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel good about it. I'm totally going to pre-order one of these guys. If you want to find out more about our thoughts on PlayStation stuff, you can check us out on Podcast Beyond every week on IGN. That is the PlayStation Show. And Next Gen Console Watch will be doing the whole, fair and balanced argument about which of the different shaped boxes is better, and having a reasoned debate about that. You can catch that every week on IGN as well. We will have more to talk about later, right here on IGN on News, Games, and More, which I'll also be hosting. Because I want to go outside because it's nice out, but I guess I'll sit around and talk about Demon's Souls some more. Anyway, thank you all for watching and joining us, Jonathan, Janet, Brian. Thank you. I'm happy we got to do this. It feels good.
Me too.
We got the release date and the prices.
Yeah,
finally.
There's a new PlayStation. That's fun. That's good news. Anyway, thank you to all of you who are watching at home, and we'll see you soon. Stick around. Bye. Don't stick around. Leave. Go home. Goodbye.